evening, everybody. Welcome once again to Married for Life. This is myself, Pastor Ishola, and my wife, Pastor Doris, Familusi. We are here tonight again.
Good evening.
Thought that tonight will be a very great night. It's Friday night. Everyone's back from work, looking forward to the weekend. And expecting that the weekend will be a really good one from all the hours of hard work during the week. So we're here tonight. We thought Friday evening will be the best time to actually just reach out to you guys tonight. And we've got a few things tonight that we want to share with you. We hope you're doing well. We hope all is well with you. We hope your families, your work, your relationships, your mental health. We do hope that everything is going on well. And so tonight, my wife and I are going to be just sharing for about 20-25 minutes on 5 nuggets your marriage needs. 5 nuggets that your marriage needs. These 5 nuggets that would help your marriage, in whatever season you are. It doesn't matter how many years you've been married. You might just have been married yesterday. You may have been married 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 20 years, 30 years. It doesn't matter. These 5 nuggets your marriage would always need. It's a continuous. It's not a once and for all nugget. It's what will go through the entire span of your marital life or your relationship with your spouse. And just before we start, we want to encourage you to, if you're watching us from Facebook, please share this broadcast now. Help us share it in those groups, those pages. Invite a friend, invite a family, invite a husband, invite a wife, invite a couple, invite as many as you can.
Absolutely. And
let's just gather together around this table tonight and just be a blessing to one another, even as we engage in tonight's topic. Good.
And just to say that if you actually have a question that you would like us to answer, please pop them in the comments, and we will try to.
We'll see if we can,
answer a couple of questions. Yes.
Hopefully, by the special grace of God. All right. So without wasting too much time while you're trying to just
doing some sharing.
Right, so there are 5 nuggets that we know that will be evident all through your marital life if your marriage is to really be what you enjoy and not what you endure. Because we always say that marriage is to be enjoyed, not endured, and I'm sure you would agree with me. We know that marriage is not a very simple institution. We know that, of course, the ups and downs of marriage, the challenges that come with marriage, but nevertheless, these 5 nuggets will ensure that your marriage is stable, healthy, and is in a good state. All right, so the very first thing, the very first nugget that your marriage cannot do without is work. Yes, I said it, work. We know that, work is important. Marriage is work. In fact, we always say that marriage is hard work.
Yes.
It's not simple. Some people get married and think automatically because they're now married, their marriage should work. Some people think because they're in love, their marriage should work. Of course, love is a very important factor in your marriage, but your marriage requires work. What I mean by that is that it requires intentionality. It requires you, both of you, deciding that we're going to make this marriage work and we're going to work it to make it work. So whatever you need to do to make sure that you are serving each other and you are maintaining that togetherness and unity in your marriage, it is work. Whether it is praying together, whether it is planning date nights, whether it is planning holidays, things that help you bond, whether it is attending marriage seminars to learn more and to improve, and to grow more in your marriage, both spiritually and physically, whatever it is that helps to promote the healthiness of your marriage and also helps to foster your togetherness in your marriage, your oneness. It takes work because for everyone who's married now on this broadcast, you would agree with me that your spouse is very different from you. You have some similarities, but you have a lot of differences. I once said on Married for Life that I don't really know how God does it, but we eventually end up with somebody who we're so different from. And that's the exciting part of it, isn't it?
Yes.
So even believers and unbelievers alike, you see that most people, more often than not, end up being attracted to somebody who is directly opposite to them. I don't know, God's just wired that in our DNA, that the people that we're attracted are people who are not like us. People who are like us, we seldom go with them, but people that are not like us are the ones that we're attracted. And hence, if it's not managed properly, it becomes the point of friction and the point of separation in a lot of marriages, because they're so different. But your point of difference should actually be the point the point that makes your marriage work. That's what brings the excitement in the marriage, because it's going to take work. It's going to take hard work. So the very first nugget is work. Marriage is hard work. The second nugget.
Now, I wanted to ask you. The thing is, like I would always say, marriage is not for lazy people. Marriage is not for the lazy, because, like we said in our last broadcast, marriage, you cannot put marriage like on autopilot.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it doesn't. It's one of those things that will not work that way.
Yeah,
so it is not for the lazy. It is for those who are going to put it first.
Yeah.
It is for those who are going to prioritize it.
That's right.
I'm not saying you can't be married if you're not going to prioritize marriage, but you're not going to enjoy marriage if you're not going to prioritize marriage and prioritize your spouse. If you want to enjoy it, then let's do it properly.
That's right.
That's just the way it works. What marriage is literally work. What you put in is what you get.
That's right, absolutely.
What you put in is what you get. If you're not going to put in nothing, you get nothing. You get dry, you get dull, you get flat. But if you're going to enjoy it, you're going to have fun living with somebody else, doing life with somebody else, then you've got to put in every effort that is required. And it's 100% effort that is required.
That's right.
It's 100% effort required. And so it's not for the lazy. Somebody needs to type that down. I don't know how many are watching tonight. I don't know. Hello, everyone. Please let us know where you've joined us from. Good evening. Where have you joined from? We can't see any comments at all. Why don't you say good evening, and why don't you why don't you say good evening, and why don't you comment so that we know you're there?
Absolutely.
So we know you're there.
There's a scripture, Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9 to 12. It says, 2 are better than 1, because they have a good reward for their labor.
Wow.
Does that sound like work to you?
Wow.
When you labor, marriage requires labor. So it says they have a good reward for their labor. It says, for if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow.
Yeah.
But woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he had not another to help him up. And it says, again, if two lie together, then they have heat. How can one be warm alone? And if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him. And a threefold cord is not quickly broken, or not easily broken. So you would agree with me that, 2 are better than 1. So your marriage is better than you being single. And I think that's something that someone needs to take home. Or someone needs to, some people come and say, I was much better off before I met my wife. I was much better before I met my husband. In fact, things have gone, no, you've not understood how to navigate well in marriage. The hard work that's required to make your marriage what it ought to be is what you're lacking. Because it says 2 are better than 1, because they have a good reward for their labor.
Yeah.
And so it is important that we understand that marriage requires labor.
Yeah.
And because it requires labor, then the reward of labor, it says it's good.
Yes.
So the reward you're going to get over your marriage is going to be good if you're ready to roll up your sleeves and put in the work and the labor that's required to actually have that good work. That good reward as the dividend of your labor.
That's good. That's good. Good evening, Sister Emma, Alero, Adrian. Good evening. Really good to have you.
Yeah.
If you can share the broadcast, like it, love it, so that people will know that we've come on tonight. It's not a usual evening to come on for us. We don't usually come on Friday night. But yeah, if we can also copy the link and share them into the broadcasts, into our groups, into our various connect groups and all of that. If we do that, that would be awesome. If we can do that, that would be awesome. So marriage, we're on point 1. Marriage is work. Yeah. You have to learn to water your own garden.
That's right.
A lot of people look out there and think, oh, wow, I love that couple. Wow, I love that man and how he treats his wife. Oh, I love that woman. Look at that couple. Oh, they're so cute together. They're so good together. No, everyone has to put in the work. You need to do the same in your own marriage.
Right.
You have to learn to water your own garden.
Right.
The grass may look greener on the other side, but the reason that the grass looks greener on the other side is because the people on the other side are watering it. Somebody is tending to that garden. Somebody is putting in the hard work in that garden. So you may look at that garden across from your house and you think, when is my garden ever going to look? I mean, I used to be like that. Like, my neighbor's garden is so well kept, and I used to think, when will I ever have a garden like this? Flowers, the different colors, the different, but I said to myself, well, these are retired folks. They're retired, they have time in their hands. Unfortunately, marriage is not like your back garden.
Yeah.
It can't wait. Your back garden can wait months and months for you. If you don't have time, it will wait. But your marriage will not wait. It will suffer. So you've got to put in that work.
Yeah.
And so that grass that looks so green on the other side, it's looking green because somebody is watering it. Someone needs to put that point down. It is looking green because somebody else is watering that grass. You need to pay attention to your lawn. You need to pay attention to it's work.
Yeah.
Gardening is work. Caring for anything is work. Nurturing anything is work. Nurturing children is work. Nurturing your business, growing a new business, nurturing it is hard work. Why do we leave out our marriages? Why do we think that our marriages can be left out? No, marriage is work. You need to give it care.
Yeah.
You need to give it attention. You need to water it.
That's right.
You need to water it. You need to fertilize it. You need to weed. You need to cut. You need to dress it.
That's right.
You need to do all of these things so that when you look at yours, you'll appreciate it. When you look at the work, when you look at what you're doing in your relationship, the hard work that you've put in, and you start looking at the reward, how beautiful that garden looks, how lovely it looks, then you appreciate what it is that you're really doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. In fact, we human beings can work hard at every other thing but our marriages. We can work hard to be promoted at work. We can work hard to complete or to finish that course.
Yeah.
We can work hard to start that business. We can work hard to make sure that we have comfort around us. But the one thing that we expect to work itself out more often than not is our marriages. And the same way you work hard to be promoted at work, the same way you work hard in starting that business, the same way you work hard to bring comfort around you, the sacrifice that you put in to ensure it works out is the same level of sacrifice that our marriages require.
That's right.
And so we must begin to understand that we really truly need to take marriage as work. And that's the only way we're going to get the benefits out of marriage as well.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. And sometimes it looks like yours isn't that good. But actually, no. Just because the next couple, they make it look so alluring, they make it look so, it doesn't make your marriage any less beautiful.
That's right.
It doesn't make yours any less, your relationship. It doesn't, it's how you see it. It's what you do. It's how you... It's what you put in. It's how you see your spouse. It's how you see your relationship. It's how you lift. It's how you carry your own. Are you hearing me?
That's
so
right.
I want to encourage you tonight. You need to carry your own marriage with pride.
That's right.
You need to carry your own marriage. Somebody needs to type that down. You need to carry your own with pride. It will not always be perfect, but as long as you put in, what you can put in, you will get something fantastic out of it. Okay, you will get something fantastic out of it.
Absolutely. So number one, marriage is work. So number two, prioritize time together. Prioritize time together. See, quality time together is very key, or is a key factor to growing in your marriage. Anything that's going to succeed will always take time. In investment, in commitment, in dedication, and in diligence. So no relationship automatically works out without the use of quality time. Your marriage will not work out just because you're married, just because you're in love. No, it will need or require quality time. Time spent together. Time dedicated to the furtherance or the togetherness and the growth of that marriage. Time dedicated to growing yourselves in your love towards each other. Time dedicated to serving each other. So you would need quality time. You need to prioritize quality time. Even work cannot take over. No matter how busy you are, you need to make time out of no time for your marriage.
Because at the end of the day, marriage is about cultivating friendship.
That's right.
Remaining friends.
That's right.
You know, you can, at the start, you can get yourself to that level of friendship. You can get yourself to be friends. When you get into the marriage, that friendship needs to continue to be cultivated.
That's right.
There's no stopping.
That's right.
Last week, we told you that, you know, the way that you build your intimacy, if you stop doing the things you need to do, then you've already started drifting. Just by stopping, just by not doing anything, you are already drifting. That's just it. It's like building friendship. It requires time. Time, like we say, is the currency for any relationship. It is the currency of marriage. It is the currency of your relationship. Time. We can't even say this one less. There's no. I wish we could run away from time. There's no relationship that can survive without time together. Without time together. Time is what will allow you to get to know each other. Knowing each other takes time, quality time. Knowing yourselves. You can never ever arrive. You can never ever know yourselves completely. The level to which, you know, some people say, we're just getting to know each other, you know, before we commit to this or commit to that. And then you will find that even when you get married, 23 years of marriage, going on 24, they're still saying things that we're still discovering about each other. Marriage is about daily discoveries. You can never finish knowing the person. Somebody needs, that's so good. You can never finish knowing the person. Can someone type that down? You can never finish knowing the person. That's just the truth. You keep discovering. You keep knowing. You keep digging into each other, and it requires time. That's why the number 2 nugget for tonight is time.
Absolutely. In Amos chapter 3 and verse 3, it says, "Can two walk together except they be agreed?" Well, how can they even be agreed at all if they're not even walking together? And to walk together requires time.
It requires
time.
Know,
if I don't have time for my wife, we're never going to walk together. Talk less of agreeing. On anything.
And the thing with time, hon, is that it's not going to. You have to make it work. You have to create the time.
Absolutely.
There will never be enough time.
Absolutely.
It's we all have 24 hours a day, but it's almost like we're struggling for time. Where did the time go? You will never. There's work to do. There's this. There's that.
Absolutely.
Ordinarily, you would never have enough time.
That's right.
So what you need to do is create time out of no time.
That's right.
So somebody needs to type that down. In marriage, you make time out of no time.
That's right.
You make time even when you don't feel like making time.
That's right.
Are there times you don't feel like making time?
Yeah.
Are there times you don't feel like talking to someone?
Yeah.
Are there times you don't feel, you just can't be bothered?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the marriage relationship isn't that kind of relationship that we just go to sleep
Yeah.
and wake up
Yeah.
and we pick up
And we'll pick
from
up.
where we stopped. No, it's not that sort of relationship. Right.
Absolutely.
So friendship is key,
Yeah.
and time is required in building friendship. Have you seen
Absolutely.
friends like to spend time together?
That's right.
Friends like to
Yeah.
do things
They
together.
enjoy each other's company.
Friends enjoy each other's company.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
that's what it needs to be in marriage. Friendship is the highest form of relationship. And so if a marriage is devoid of friendship, we have a problem.
Yeah, yeah. So time is important. Nugget number 3, right? That's nugget
Yes.
number 3 is pay more attention to each other's love language. Pay more attention to each other's love language. See, this goes without saying. Love languages matter in serving your spouse in the way that they like to be loved. Because really, you're in that marriage to serve your spouse. Your spouse is in that marriage to serve you. So it's about out-serving each other the best way we know how to, using the love or going through the channel of the love languages that we have. So, couples should be excited to meet each other's needs through each other's love languages. It's just like my wife used to say that, just like if all I understand is Chinese and all you're speaking to me is English. You may be saying beautiful things in English, you may be saying lovely things in English, but because all I understand is Chinese, your English has no value. Even though you're saying glorious things, I'm frustrated because you're not speaking my language. So in marriage, we have love languages. We have different love languages. I mean, there's that book that is so popular, the 5 love languages. So your job as your spouse is to find out what your spouse's love language is and how best you can meet that need. I tell you, once you can get that rhythm right, your marriage will go places.
That's right.
Why? Because you are attending to the needs of your spouse, and your spouse is attending to your needs.
Yeah.
And sometimes meeting your spouse's love language might be sacrificial. Yes, that's part of it, because it is part of the discipline that's needed in order to meet each other's needs. So we must pay more attention to each other's love languages.
Yeah.
Nugget number 3.
Yeah. The thing with love, the thing with love is that sometimes you find you love each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so the problem, you're like hitting this roadblock in your marriage, and you're just not getting anywhere. And you know that you love each other. So the love is not the problem. The problem is not your love. The problem is your love language.
Yeah.
You're speaking that love to your spouse in a way that they don't understand.
Right.
You're speaking the language of love in the language that doesn't mean love for them. Love does not translate to love in his language.
Yeah.
Love, what translates as love for me would be different for what translates as love for my husband.
Yeah.
So where for me, if you love me, you need to be holding my hand. He needs to be rubbing my shoulder. He needs to be touching me. Physical touch is more like it for me, amongst, other love languages. But for my husband, words of affirmation are key for him.
That's right.
You can't be touching him and then be talking rudely to him, or not be appreciative of the things he does with your words.
Yeah.
That's not going to do anything. That's not going to cut it for him. You can touch him from morning till night, but if you don't tell him how good he's been, and if you don't tell him how well he's trying, and if you don't tell him how lovely he's, how he's looking after you, or what, if you don't tell him those things and appreciate, acknowledge, and affirm those things that he's doing and those things that he's being, it's not cutting it.
Yeah.
You're not showing love.
Sure.
So how does your spouse want to be loved?
Yeah.
Not just how do they want to be loved, how do they feel loved? What makes them feel loved? What makes them feel loved? That's what you need to be doing.
Absolutely.
Don't speak Chinese to somebody who does not understand, who only understands Yoruba language.
Yeah.
You're trying to communicate to someone who doesn't speak English in English. That's not going to work.
It's not going to work. No.
If all they understand is Japanese, then you're going to have to do all you can to speak that love in Japanese.
Yeah, absolutely.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely. So that's nugget number 3. Now we're running out of time, so we're going to do the 2 nuggets very quickly. Nugget number 4 is that you have to prioritize listening to each other's hearts in communication. See, there's nothing as great as having your spouse's heart, understanding their heart, because a lot of times a lot of marriages run into trouble because there's a misunderstanding of each other's heart. So if I know where my wife's heart, if I know where her heart is, and if I'm listening, because some people hear but don't listen. All right. So always seeking to understand what your spouse's heart is trying to communicate to your heart when having that time together.
That's
it's
so
a
good.
heart-to-heart connection.
So good.
So if there's no heart-to-heart connection, if all that they're saying and it's just flying over your head and there's no heart-to-heart connection, trust me, there's going to be very soon there's going to be serious issues in that marriage.
Yeah.
Because when you know my heart and my wife, when my wife knows my heart and I know her heart, then we can respond to each other's hearts, and not just respond to each other's actions, as it were, but to the heart behind the action.
Yeah.
And that's what makes things better in marriage. So you're going to prioritize listening to your wife. So if your wife is saying she's lonely, for instance, listen to her heart. And don't start thinking, oh, but I was with you yesterday. Oh, but we went shopping day before yesterday. But we went and bought this 2 days ago. And today I've been in the house all day with you. We've been talking. No, but she's saying she's lonely. So there's something that's in her heart that's crying out for some connection. And it's not happening. Yeah. So we need to prioritize listening to each other's hearts. And it will help us function better. In fact, there's something that I saw happen years ago between one of my aunts and her husband. You see, they've been together for so long, and this were a couple that really got each other's heart. And the wife could be in a different country and from the husband. And if you ask them the same question, you would realize that they would both reply the same answer, even without knowing that you've asked the other spouse the same question. That was how together their heart was. They were so gelled together that whatever question you asked them, about their lives, it was the same answer that you got from them.
Wow.
They didn't even need to communicate, but they would it's just deep-seated in there. And I realized that the more you respond to each other's heart, the more you grow as one. And the more you're able to read yourselves, even, before your wife or your spouse speaks, you're able to read them. You know exactly what's going on in your mind. There are times that I'm thinking something, and I'm thinking to say something, and just before I say it, or thinking, okay, do I say it now? My wife just comes out with that, she's saying, I'm like, oh, I was just thinking that, just some few hours ago. So there's something about heart-to-heart connection. It really, really brings that oneness together in marriage.
So good.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
So good.
Absolutely. So prioritize listening to each other's hearts. And the last one, the 5th one tonight, is sexual intimacy. See, that one is a no-brainer. A marriage without sex will eventually die. God created sex not just for procreation, but for enjoyment and intimate bonding between married couples. Okay? So these are 5 nuggets that your marriage cannot do without.
Yep.
So we hope you've been blessed tonight, everybody. We hope everyone's been blessed tonight. If you're just coming on and you haven't yet shared the broadcast, make sure you share it. Let us know. Let us know how you've enjoyed the broadcast. We are going to be here again with you guys. One of the days next week. Of course, we'll put the flyer and the notification out once we know that particular day. But expect us each week, one of the days in each week, for a broadcast, to come up with a broadcast.
It's most likely going to be Thursday nights.
Okay.
Yeah, so have that in your diary. Most likely Thursday nights, 9 p.m. on a Thursday night. But we plan to make sure that we're on by God's grace, because it's not really easy having so many things, to do. But yeah, so it's our heart, it's our passion, it's our heart to reach out to you and to be a blessing to you in the way that God is blessing us. I mean,
absolutely.
So many things that God is releasing through us, and we wanna be in that place where we're able to touch marriages and bless marriages. This season, we're going to be, from next week, going deeper into sexual intimacy. We're going to be going deeper into sexual intimacy, the importance of sex in marriage. And you don't want to miss that. From starting next week, it's going to be some series. We'll be doing some series. So please get ready for that and get everyone, let everyone know that this is what we're going to be going into in the next few weeks. So thank you so much for coming on tonight. Please share the broadcast, like it, share it, so that it can bless. You don't know what nuggets a couple needs out there that will bless their lives. So thank you so much for coming on tonight, and God bless you.
God bless you, and we'll see you again next time.